Good morning. Welcome back to Morning Express this Monday, the 27th of October. As you can see, guests all set in studio. We want to get sporty this morning, but some sad news coming from South Africa that the national football team captain killed.
Yes, very unfortunate situation. I think it's now becoming a very bad trend. We are, after Kenya lost, of course, the women's cricket team. I think over this week, it's been
some big superstars have
exactly
died,
have really been falling. It's unfortunate in South Africa. It was a case of burglary, I think so, and it's unfortunate. Orlando Pirates and the Bafana have lost a player.
Yeah. Well, I know there's a lot you have to discuss, so welcome to you all and take it away.
Thanks, Sophia, and good morning. This is KTN Sports Chat. Just a day after Sofapaka did the unthinkable by beating Gor Mahia, a team which many probably thought will take the title on Sunday in Machakos. But what happened was exactly, of course, what we saw yesterday. But that is what happened yesterday in Machakos. Of course, Sofapaka scoring 4 of the goals and Gor Mahia scoring the other one. But like I said, up in the studio to split this, we thought the league will be won yesterday. Harold Ndege, of course, not new to KTN, a soccer analyst himself, a former player with Tusker FC, but now doing financial consulting. Robin Toskin, our editor at the Game Year 2 and associate editor here at the Standard Group. Gentlemen, and Toskin, let me start with you because you were in Machakos yesterday. Did you see that happening? Because when you left here in the morning, probably you thought things will change or Gor Mahia will be putting the hand, just half of the hands, into the trophy or on the trophy.
Thank you, Kemboi. Allow me first maybe to pass my condolences to the family of Senzo Meiwa. He was a very good goalkeeper. We know that South Africa are topping their group because of his fine performance, because they had kept 4 clean sheets while playing for Bafana. Now that this guy is gone, I think it's a pain not only for the South Africans but also for Kenyans. I know for sure one of our colleagues, Bismarck Mutai, is a big fan. He was a big fan of Senzo Meiwa, and I'm sure he could be really devastated today morning. Going back to Machakos, I think we had a very good game of football yesterday, Gor Mahia versus Sofapaka. Technically, I think the two teams were up to it until mayhem broke out.
Yes.
Something very, 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 discomforting, knowing how far we've come from as a nation trying to rebuild the Kenyan Premier League. And then all this happens in Machakos. I think everyone who loves football must be, disappointed at the events that happened yesterday.
Exactly. We will come to and we will show that footage of the fracas yesterday. But now let's, for a few minutes, concentrate on the pitch. Of course, we knew Gor Mahia had probably gone away with this thing, but Sofapaka refused to let it go. Harold?
Well, in football, it's not over until it's over. And it will have been a very, very serious assumption if Gor Mahia had assumed by the fact that maybe they have some few matches in hand, they are just going to wallop or go over Sofapaka. As Toskin has said, technically both sides were prepared for the match, but tactically Gor Mahia were not up to the standard. If you check the numerous goals they conceded, especially the first goal which came from John Jorege from the left flank, coming inside the box, you could see the way Shakava and Owino, the way they were standing, their tactical defense was not correct. And it surprised me a lot how Shakava allowed Piston control his first touch with the chest to set himself up and take the shot on goal and score. He had the eyes on the ball, but he didn't have his eyes on the man. And he was supposed to have one eye on the ball and one eye on the man. And that's how he lost it and they conceded the first goal.
Toskin, you want to raise a point, but we all were watching that match. Sure, and at one point I thought, Gor Mahia thought Sofapaka would just be a walk in the park, like we kept saying.
No. In fact, when you started the program, you said that Sofapaka did the unthinkable. I don't think it was it's unthinkable because Gor Mahia have been, playing poorly and especially in defending, but no team had dared to punish Gor Mahia. So yesterday they were punished because you look at the squad of Gor Mahia compared with AFC Leopards, for instance, Sofapaka, Tusker. I think Gor Mahia has the weakest squad. Yet they are at the top of the table. It's just because the other teams have not been exposing Gor Mahia. Yesterday they were exposed. because the defending wise, you saw, like he says about Shakava, he lacked the spring, he lacked the tactical awareness, so that he should know what is happening around him. Look at even the second goal, Fiston Abdul again rising up from that throw-in by Agwanda, and just heading. The Gor Mahia defense was flat, and that is how Gor Mahia have been all along. Yet other teams have not taken advantage of that. And if it goes on like the way it is, let me tell you, Gor Mahia could just kiss goodbye this trophy.
Gor Mahia could kiss goodbye because when we look at the matches they're left, I think if you look at it on paper, it favors them because they'll play away to Moroni, and we know teams from that side have probably had some warm hands for Gor Mahia, depending on which side Gor Mahia wants to be favored at that point. They play Moroni away in Awendo, I think, and they come back home and finish with Ushuru.
There is a chance that match could be played in Nakuru or even in Nairobi, and that's where the problem now lies. They're saying that these are maybe relatively weak teams. We've known Ushuru have lost, I think, 8 straight matches. Yes. And that now becomes really tricky for Gor Mahia, because these guys want to now end the league on a high. Same thing with Moroni. Moroni have once beaten Gor Mahia, and Gor Mahia are aware of the dangers of underestimating this team. So it will be very difficult for Gor Mahia, and especially coming off this defeat to Sofapaka, pressure could now be mounting on Gor Mahia, and if they cannot contain that pressure, then they could be right.
Hassan Juma, in his story, which we just watched, asked, is it a two-horse race with a big question mark? Harold, looking at Sofapaka right now, they have again 2 matches which are not very weak. They play away to AFC Leopards, and they again play their last match away to Tusker FC. Will it be easy for them? Will they be riding on that the victory against Gor Mahia yesterday, probably to shut out everyone else and raise their chances of winning their second KPL title?
At this particular juncture, I'm sure Sofapaka are looking at every match as a final, because they know if they clinch the 6 points remaining and something happens to the other side when Gor Mahia maybe they lose some points, they're going to clinch the title. On the other hand, I think it's not going to be easy for Gor Mahia with the 2 remaining fixtures with regards to Ushuru and Moroni. So it's not going to be an easy ride for them. If they get into the pitch assuming that they're just going to walk over those 2 teams, then they're going to be surprised. In football, it's not over until it's over. Until you play up to the 90th minute, when you're sure of the results, that's when you can start counting those points. But before you enter that pitch, you don't even know. A team like Moroni, they want to finish the top 8.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm sure they'll come out guns blazing. They'll also want to get those points. And Gor Mahia right now, they need to do a lot of psychological beef up.
Yes.
Because
especially
of the loss,
after that.
Yes, especially after this loss. And going into the 2 matches, the players might look at them, these are easy matches, we can walk away with them. Frank Nuttall has a lot of work to do when it comes to upping the psychology of those players.
Does Tusker still have a chance in this fight for the title?
Mathematically, they have a chance, but it's becoming difficult, especially after Football Kenya Federation overruled Kenya Premier League for awarding Tusker the 3 points against Moroni. They have said that the case has to come up for review, and IDCC should listen to the case that is likely, that has been lodged by Moroni. And they are also saying, look, it's not the business of Kenya Premier League awarding points, that if there was any issue, it has to go through the judicial bodies. And if that goes that route, I think Tusker could as well, just
still have a fight in their hands.
Those 3 points, if they lose those 3 points, then the fight will just come down to Sofapaka and Gor Mahia.
Exactly, and looking at the advantage they have, playing their last 2 matches at home against Thika United and against Sofapaka again, the mathematics, will it come again in favor of Tusker, or depending again on the psychological mind, depending on how that award is given or the decision is taken against Moroni?
Sofapaka are looking good. They could wreak havoc on Tusker, but in football, you cannot be 100% so sure. Thika United have slightly, fallen off the pace. Their form is dipping. We saw them lose against Ulinzi Stars on Friday. So it's again difficult to say that, okay, Tusker could easily beat Thika United, but it's always possible.
Exactly. Like you mentioned earlier, what happened in Machakos yesterday, like Toskin put it straight, should not have happened. And if the director would just play the clip of the Gor Mahia or alleged Gor Mahia fans, what happened in Machakos yesterday is really despicable, because we are informed there's a wall which came down as a result of the anchor by these fans. Let's just watch for a few minutes exactly what was going down in Machakos after Gor Mahia lost to Sofapaka.
Watu wako Galo. Mimi pia niko na mawe. Niko na mawe.
Umejibebea.
Yes. Sasa nilikuwa naomba hivi. Aturusi mawe na kuna mwenye atarusa mawe.
Na mwenye ameruta mawe.
Mtu mwenye amerusa mawe leo, ataona bala.
Well, that fan actually say
It's clear that they did not keep the promise.
Yes.
Because they'll say nobody should throw stones, but it was mayhem. Because after Gor Mahia went down 3-1, I saw some fans from the eastern part of the stadium, running out of the stadium, and I thought it is down to some stereotype that anytime Gor Mahia or FC Leopards are trailing, expect trouble.
Exactly.
So when the fans were running out of the stadium, and I suspect those were Machakos based fans, so Gor Mahia fans must have pelted them with some missiles, and then the police just triggered the whole mayhem by shooting in the air, shooting at the fans with those tear gas canisters. And I thought they must have panicked. They thought that hell will break loose. So they wanted, to contain the situation early enough. But then, sadly, it was not to be the case.
We're even informed power was switched off just to disorient these fans because they were bound to cause more mayhem.
Yeah, I left Machakos 9:45 because it was difficult to get out of the town for those of us who are caught up in that melee. So I think the authorities within Machakos thought that the best way to do is to switch off the lights so that to disorganize the fans, because they were running battles all through, and especially after part of that the Machakos Stadium wall came down, so everyone was in panic. They're thinking that, I've got to save my life here, and then guys were running helter-skelter, and it wasn't a very good sight. We thought we needed just to hide somewhere. Went into a primary school there, just stayed calm until everything calmed down.
It is really unfortunate because it is not even 2 weeks since similar cases happened just here at the City Stadium involving AFC Leopards, and I don't know what really needs to be done for these fans, either traveling or at home, to hold their peace, because 1 minute we are seeing people streaming back to the stadium, but when we see such cases again, it will remove all the gains that have been made.
A lot of factors contribute towards crowd trouble, especially yesterday. I think Ekaliani, the Sofapaka attack, also contributed towards that trouble, for the simple reason, after him scoring, he went to that particular side which Toskin is talking about, and taunted the fans by celebration. So that way you are triggering the emotions of these particular fans to react, because most of these guys are passionate about their team. They are rallying behind their team, and when you keep on beating their team like that comprehensively, and then you go towards their side and taunt them, they are forced to react. Secondly, I think KPL, together with FKF and the security operator. It's a high time. At the beginning of the year, they had some resolutions.
Yes.
That they want to install CCTV cameras, that those people will be caught engaging in hooliganism activities are going to be arrested and blah, blah, blah. So far, I've not seen anything of those resolutions being implemented.
For the simple reason,
yes,
what the minister said the other day.
Yes.
They have not brought in the government to help FKF and Kenya Premier League.
Yes, and it is very unfortunate because it is also endangering the lives of the players whom they are supposed to entertain us. You saw at one particular point yesterday, Sofapaka's goalkeeper, after conceding the second goal against Gor Mahia, somehow a fan came into the pitch and punched him. You tend to wonder how can somebody cross that perimeter wall, get inside the pitch, go through the stewards until he reaches the pitch and hits the goalkeeper. It raises a lot of questions. And also, Mark, Sofapaka were the home team yesterday, so they were the ones providing security.
Yes.
So it is a little bit ironical that they cannot even provide security for themselves.
It's a flawed thinking, saying that our home team should provide security. Let me tell you,
it should be concerted.
There's no team in the Kenyan Premier League or in this country that is capable of mobilizing the kind of security that's needed in this football. It takes a lot of finances, it takes a lot of planning, and the clubs, the way they are struggling, to pay the salaries of their players, you cannot expect them to mobilize the security apparatus. Then that's why I still remain disappointed that the cabinet secretary in charge of sports and culture, Dr. Hassan Wario, dismissed the Kenya Football Federation when they asked for a special unit within the police force to help combat hooliganism in the stadium. The minister said that, look, that is a football affair. FKF and KPL should handle their affairs. Security of the citizens of this country is not a function of clubs. Yes. It's not a function of FKF. It's a national
responsibility.
So the state must come in to help police this, and they have to work in conjunction with the clubs and the Kenya Premier League and also FKF. So until we get to that point, we'll not be able to solve this problem. And the Kenyan government must wake up to this reality. In other countries, it's happening. Argentina, where there's always violence, and there was a time in Costa Rica, guys could not play a game of football until the government stepped in. So it's time for the Kenyan government, and if the minister in charge of sport is listening, I think they need now to have a conversation. The league is coming to an end on November 8th. The football authorities and the government should not go on holiday until they put in place mechanisms to help curb this vice.
Why can't we introduce also an act in parliament whereby issues with regards to specifically hooliganism can be tackled?
Yes.
Okay, because for me, I believe it's just a small group of individuals who are out there to cause havoc, ending up to spoil the game for everybody. If these guys can be identified quickly and got away from that particular club,
that now falls back as being a responsibility for the club, because they know all their followers, gentlemen. Because look at when the FKF were giving the ruling against the FC Leopards the other day.
Yes.
They asked these guys, identify these supposed hooligans and bring them to us. We will take them for punishment. Nothing happens because these clubs are not willing, or in my opinion, are not willing to expose some of these
Kemboi, you know very well, these football people know one another. You expose me, you say that it's Toskin who threw the first stone or who did this, and I know where you come from. I'll definitely have to take revenge on you. So it's upon a neutral body to come and sort out this mess. There's no way you can expect FC Leopards official or whoever to point out that so and so did this. Of course, they can do that in confidence, but then we must have enough security. I mentioned it that
as you close, right?
Yeah, I mentioned that few policemen are always available there. So in case of any problem, they always think that they want to finish that problem before it happens.
Yes.
Yet it triggers a big problem. So it's upon the security agencies to avail a good number of police.
Probably, I think we don't have so much, but I think that is a subject, and I am really hoping that